the tree we flourish. Under the tree we flourish. Neighbors talking as a new dawn is breaking. Marketplace are buzzing, them are out for buzzing. Right at sunset, with the one you not catch yet. Beautiful land of the free, by the Caribbean Sea. I will love this your land. Find the ground where I can stand.
Welcome to the Garden Show with Belize Botanic Garden. Today we will be talking about orchids, how we can divide and propagate more orchids. I'll be also showing you how to prune orchids, prune off their flowers so we can get more flowers each year. Here we have some of the orchids that we keep here at Belize Botanic Garden. We have a collection of over 100 orchids. Total native orchids to Belize is over 300. Actually, the count is at 312. But there's a lot of areas in Belize that remain unexplored, so probably we could get some more registered in our orchid list. As we said, we keep over 100 orchids. We do not sell or give away our orchids. We simply have our orchids for conservation purposes. We propagate, and whenever we get a good amount of our orchids, we take them into the forest and place them in different locations so that they can start growing and living on their own. What we do with our orchids is we have three types of orchids in Belize. We have terrestrial orchids. These are orchids that grow on the ground. We have epiphytes. These are orchids that grow on trees. And we have lithophytes. These are orchids that grow on rocks. So we have a few different mixes that we use for orchids. Some we mount on palmetto stumps. This is the Aguilar retii. This is the palm that you see in the pine ridge forest, the clumpy palm. It usually lights up on fire. We also use gravel. We also use charcoal. Here we use charcoal, and we also use pine bark. So depending on the type of orchid, we use different types of mixes. When we come back, we're going to show you more about orchids and how to go about propagating them after this commercial from our sponsors.
The Belize Botanic Gardens shop, located at number 37 West Street in San Ignacio Town, offers a variety of plants and organic products for all your horticulture needs. Come check out our flowering and ornamental plants, different palm varieties, heliconias, and fruit tree seedlings, to name a few. The shop also has in stock organic fertilizers, and we carry a variety of natural personal care products such as soaps, lotions, and shampoos. We also sell local organic products such as cassava bread, cassava starch, and plantain flour. The Belize Botanic Gardens shop is open Tuesdays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call the Belize Botanic Gardens shop at telephone numbers 824-3101 or 671-3322, or come by number 37 West Street to purchase all your horticulture products today.
Okay, we are back again, and now I'm going to show you how to go about separating on propagating, or the way we go about propagating some of our orchids here at the garden. Here we have the Encyclia croceata. Was known as Encyclia croceata. Now it's Prostechia croceata. The name changed. Most of you might recognize this orchid. This is our national orchid, the black orchid. You can see the flowers. It's now blooming. With the black orchid, they get very, very crowded. So division is necessary. In order for you to have more and healthy orchids, big flowers, you need to divide and also get rid of some of the old pseudobulbs that the orchid has. Here I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about separating this orchid so we can get at least 3 or 4 plants from this bunch that we have here. First, you're going to need either a sharp knife or your shears. all gardeners should own one of these. All right. Make sure that it's sharp. Make sure that it's clean so you can get clean, sharp cuts. You don't want to infect your orchid. What we have for our mix, we have charcoal, we have pine bark, and we have volcanic rock, as well as clay. We have some pieces of clay inside. Clay is very good for orchids since it's very cool, and it retains a little bit of moisture. The orchid's roots tend to hold on to the very good. You can see this as an example. You can see some of the roots all over the clay pot. You can know now choosing your clay, your orchid pot is very important. Not all pots are meant to grow orchids. Orchids, the roots are usually, the roots of orchids usually photosynthesize. So the roots will normally be somewhat exposed. So that's okay. You don't need to cut them off or anything like that. And because of that, you want to choose your pot wisely. Some of the pots now come transparent, so that makes the root in the mix also photosynthesize. If you notice, if you look at this pot, it has a lot of holes, and that is how you can tell an orchid pot, is that it will have a lot more drainage than a regular plant pot, because roots of orchids don't really like to be in moisture for too long. They don't really like to have wet feet. So now we're going to go about stepping into how to divide this orchid into several bits so you can get more plants out of it. First, you got to look at the signs that orchids give you in order for you to divide. You will see that the young roots, you will see signs of young roots. They will be white or the tips green. That's a good sign that the plant is ready. It's actively growing, so it's a good sign that the plant needs to be divided, or it can be divided without any danger. If you do this when the plant is dormant, when it's not actively growing, it will take a while before the plant shows any signs. Sometimes it will die. Sometimes it takes a while before it shows any signs of life again. All right. What you want to go and do first is remove our dead head, the old flowers. You want to go about removing the old flowers, old pseudobulbs. You want to go about cleaning those. Any dead roots, you want to go and remove dead roots that will be in the way. Don't be afraid to cut the orchid. If you're afraid, then you will end up with a dead orchid. You see a lot of pseudobulbs that have no leaves on them. You want to go and trim some of them. Don't trim all. Just to give you space for you to work with the orchid. Now you can see the orchid actually divide itself. You don't have to do much. Don't pull it apart. Don't chop it with a machete. Try to use a sharp knife or a shears. I rather a shears because you have control of what you're doing. If you look at this bunch, it actually divides basically on its own. All you have to do is clip, and there you go. It comes apart. So this is a nice little bunch. Usually we like to try to keep 3 or 4 tops so that the plant remains healthy. If you notice, you have the young growth, you have the young roots coming up, and that is showing you that it's growing. So whenever you mix it, whenever you plant it into the mix, it will continue growing. The roots will wrap up in the mix, and that makes a healthy plant, a healthy division. So we're gonna go again and remove the old flowers. Make sure you get it completely. Do not leave behind stubs of the flowers. They just look untidy. It actually makes the flower bloom more healthier, bigger flowers. So again, we're going to remove some of the old ones. As long as you get a healthy root system and you get a healthy top, then your plant should be okay. You don't need to worry about it dying off or anything like that. But don't do this procedure and just leave your plant without care. After you are finishing putting it in a pot, you need to look after it on a daily basis like you did the mother plant. You need to look after it so that it continue producing beautiful flowers. You cannot just forget about it, and just because you have done this procedure, it means that the plant is going to live good on its own for the next 2 years. It takes a while before you do this procedure again. It will take at least 3 or 4 years before the plant gets this big, but by that time you already have more containers that you can put your plants in. Here we go. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 healthy divisions that we have created from that one bunch that we had. Now we go about setting it in the pot. Usually when you are setting orchids in a pot or mounting them on a stump or a stick, what is important is for you to do it in a firm manner, not too tight, so that the orchid doesn't move. If the orchid base moves, if you tie it up on a stick and the base shakes, or you pass and you rub it every day and you shake it every day, the roots are not going to grip and it will start dying back. So whenever you set it on a pot or mount it on a stick, you have to make sure that it's firm. The wind can blow the leaves, but the base doesn't move. If the base keeps on moving, then your repotting or potting on will be unsuccessful. Alright, so whenever you are putting on a pot, we already chose our pot. You have a clay pot here. You can see the holes in the bottom, they are pretty big, so it allows good drainage. We're gonna use some of our mixture. If you notice, the size of the pot is also important. You don't want to put, you don't have to choose a division that is way big for your pot. Okay, you should have at least 1 or 2 inches of space around the base of the plant for you to know that it's a good size of pot that you're using. It's not too big, it's not too small. So you have to give the orchid that space for it to grow. If you use a big root system like this one, you would have to divide it again the following year. Now dividing it like this, also if you do it on a yearly basis, it will stop the orchid from flowering. So the orchid will go into shock and it won't bloom for a long time. Alright, so you don't want to avoid that. You want to give it a good space for it to grow the following 3 or 4 years. So we're going to set, you see it's halfway. So we're going to set the orchid right in the middle. We're not going to put it too deep, alright, or too shallow, because if we put it too high, it's going to fall over. Alright, we're going to set it right in the middle. Do not push it down. And just pour the mix around it. Now the difference between this and the repotting with soil, this one you can actually fill up to the top, because if you fill up to the top with soil and you water it, the water is going to run on the side, it's not going to go into the pot. But this one you can actually fill to the top because it's so porous. So if you water it, the water will go down. You don't need to worry about filling it to the overfilling it or anything like that. All right. Once you have finished filling up your pot, you make sure that the orchid is firm. The base does not move. The leaf moves, but the base doesn't. And that's what's important for the roots to make contact with the mix that you have put them in. Now here we have a new repotted orchid, a new divided orchid. So from one bunch, now I have 5. Alright, and then that's what we do with our orchids here at the garden in order for us to propagate and make more of our native orchids. Like I said, we do not sell or give away our orchids. It's simply for conservation purposes. Alright, and this, our national flower, is always good to look after it. We will be back after this with a commercial from our sponsors. We'll come back and have something else planned.
The Belize Botanic Gardens shop, located at number 37 West Street in San Ignacio Town, offers a variety of plants and organic products for all your horticulture needs. Come check out our flowering and ornamental plants, different palm varieties, heliconias, and fruit tree seedlings, to name a few. The shop also has in stock organic fertilizers, and we carry a variety of natural personal care products such as soaps, lotions, and shampoos. We also sell local organic products such as cassava bread, cassava starch, and plantain flour. The Belize Botanic Gardens shop is open Tuesdays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call the Belize Botanic Gardens shop at telephone numbers 824-3101 or 671-3322, or come by number 37 West Street to purchase all your horticulture products today.
Welcome back to the garden show. Now we have repotted an orchid. What we need to do now is learn how to go about caring after. Immediately after you repotted, what you would do next is water. Usually orchids are used to lots of water, but because of the type of root system that it has and the type of mix that you have it in, the water tends to drain very quickly. As you can see, it's draining out. There's no more water inside. So you don't want the mix to go completely dry. That is why we tend to mist our orchids. We mist them twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. The orchids are not kept out in full sun, so the misting doesn't do any damage to the leaves. Alright, we have a mister that runs for about 10 minutes, then you turn it off, because if you run it more, basically the water will be wasting. It will just keep pouring out of the pot. It doesn't stay. As long as the mix is wet, you don't need to add any more water to it. As long as the mix is moist, you don't need to continue pouring more water on them. So that's what you do twice a day for the next 3 or 4 weeks. If you have it outside, then you need to give it more water. If you have it on a partial shade or full shade, then twice a day is okay. Now, if you notice, we have here a lot of our native orchids. Now, we are not encouraging you guys to go about into the forest or into the bushes and taking the orchids that are there. That's actually illegal. You need a permit. You need a collecting permit in order for you to collect native orchids. We have our permit. We go about getting orchids. Basically, what we do to obtain some of these orchids is there are people that are leaving the country and have orchids that no one will take care of, so they come here and they donate it to us. Also, wherever there's deforested area like the Chalio Dam, we would go there and collect a lot of the orchids that are there along the Pine Ridge area, where there's a lot of cutting down of Pinus caribea, the pine trees. We'd get the orchids that are mounted on top. So we just don't go and pull off orchids off the trees because we want to keep them. That's not what the garden is about. So we also take care of our orchids with our organic sprays. We have these at our garden shop in town for sale. We tend to just mist them right on the leaves. You want to get the underside of the leaf because that's where a lot of sapsuckers tend to be hiding out. You want to get them all moist so they look shiny and fresh. And it's always a good habit to just spray the mix as well, because they have some sapsuckers that will go into your mix and live in there. Caterpillars will do that as well. So you want to spray the mix as well. What we have in the mix is citrus oil and a vinegar, apple cider vinegar. It is mixed with water, diluted so that it's not too strong. So if you mix it too strong, it will burn your orchid. You want to avoid that, especially since it's blooming. The first thing that would burn if you mix it too strong is the bloom. So you want to avoid that. Slightly spray the orchid. Try to do it when early in the mornings or late in the afternoons, whenever the sun has gone down, if you have it outside in the sun. Now, if you have it in the shade, then you don't need to worry about what time of the day you do it. We'll be back with our pruning segment on pruning.
The Belize Botanic Gardens shop, located at number 37 West Street in San Ignacio Town, offers a variety of plants and organic products for all your horticulture needs. Come check out our flowering and ornamental plants, different palm varieties, heliconias, and fruit tree seedlings, to name a few. The shop also has in stock organic fertilizers, and we carry a variety of natural personal care products such as soaps, lotions, and shampoos. We also sell local organic products such as cassava bread, cassava starch, and plantain flour. The Belize Botanic Gardens shop is open Tuesdays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call the Belize Botanic Gardens shop at telephone numbers 824-3101 or 671-3322, or come by number 37 West Street to purchase all your horticulture products today.
We are back again with our garden show. The last show we had questions, or we have comments on some of our plants that were posted up and presented. Here we have Miss Judy Duploy to talk about these plants, a little bit more on these plants.
Well, this plant, a Dieffenbachia, which is a plant that many people have in their houses and in their yards, in their houses in temperate climates, in their yards in tropical climates. And then we have a couple of other Dieffenbachia over here, Anglonema and another bigger Anglonema. These are very common in houses, and I see a lot of them in the bank. Well, last week when we showed these, we had a couple of people comment about the fact that they are toxic. And we totally agree that they are toxic, but you do have to eat them to have them hurt you. And also they have a what do you call it?
Resin.
A resin that they excrete when you cut them, and they can also cause a rash on your hand or wherever they touch. They can actually kill you if you eat them, so I wouldn't have them in a house near children.
Here with us we have some of our visiting guests. Hello.
Hello.
What are your names?
I'm Bree. And I'm Kate.
Where are you guys from?
We're from Seattle, Washington.
Seattle. Can you tell us how did you find out about the gardens?
We read about it in some guidebooks before we came here, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
The flowers and plants are amazing, and the view from the fire tower is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for supporting the garden, and we hope you tell your friends and come back.
Absolutely.
Here I want to demonstrate how you do pruning on shrubs. On this specific plant, this is Brunsfelsia passiflora. It's the common name for it is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And the reason is because of the three color flowers that it has. When the flower is open, it is purple in color, bright purple. Then it goes to lavender, and then it goes to full white, and then it falls to the ground. That's the reason you see white flowers on the bottom. It is actually in the same family as potatoes and tomatoes. This Brunsfelsia, as you can see, it blooms a lot, so it will have a lot of dead. After the flowers fallen off, it will have a lot of dead heads, and it's always a good habit to deadhead your shrubs. So the following year they come back looking better. They get bushier, and it produces a lot more flowers. If you look at the leaves, before you prune, you have to look at the leaves of the plant. One is alternate to the other. It is alternate. It is an alternate leaf formation. You have to look at that first, because that will tell you which kind of prune or what kind of cut you're gonna do. There are plants that have opposite leaf formation, and that one you cut straight. This one with the alternate leaf formation, you cut at an angle. All right, so you have your shears. Your shears need to be sharp, clean. We usually disinfect our shears with alcohol, rubbing alcohol or peroxide, or a little bit of liquid soap. You wash your blade with it so that it doesn't transmit diseases to the plants you are cutting. What you want to look is at the bud. The bud is above each petiole of a leaf. There you will find a bud. So what you want is take a 45-degree angle from the base of the bud above, with the face of the cut facing away. So that's the cut you want to make right there. Alright, why do you want to make a cut like this? It's because the bud will sprout out. Eventually, it will cover up the cut that you made, and it will cover it, completely heal it, look like if the plant never got cut before. So that's what you want, is you want the plant to heal back and not get infected with any fungus. Alright, whether the branch is thick or whether the branch is thin, if you are pruning back to a bud, you need to make this angle cut in order for the branch to heal properly. We'll be back with more.
One, go.
And that's the right way you go about pruning an alternate leaf plant. We'll be right back with more after these messages.
The Belize Botanic Gardens shop, located at number 37 West Street in San Ignacio Town, offers a variety of plants and organic products for all your horticulture needs. Come check out our flowering and ornamental plants, different palm varieties, heliconias, and fruit tree seedlings, to name a few. The shop also has in stock organic fertilizers, and we carry a variety of natural personal care products such as soaps, lotions, and shampoos. We also sell local organic products such as cassava bread, cassava starch, and plantain flour. The Belize Botanic Gardens shop is open Tuesdays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call the Belize Botanic Gardens shop at telephone numbers 824-3101 or 671-3322, or come by number 37 West Street to purchase all your horticulture products today.
Okay, welcome back. We just had a segment on a pre-demonstration on how to go about deadheading flowers and how about pruning off the flowers or dead branches. You can also use dead branches off plants. Talking about flowers, I'm going to have Miss Judy Duploy explain to you. We have a little event coming up for this Valentine's. So Miss Judy.
Thank you, Rudy. Valentine's Day at the shop at 37 West Street at the Belize Botanic Garden shop. If you'd like to drop by anytime after 10, we will have cut flowers for sale, and we'll also have someone there who can help you make your own bouquet to take home, or you can have us make a bouquet for you anytime after 10 o'clock on Saturday, the 13th of February. I would like everyone to stay tuned for our calendar of our classes. You can learn all the things that we've talked about here in depth. We have classes in pruning, grafting, weeding, watering, setting up beds, plant propagation, and we'll be announcing our calendar pretty soon, so stay tuned for that.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you want to visit the Belize Botanic Garden, you can come and visit us, and that's one way the Belize Botanic Garden sustain itself. So we'd like everybody to support. Please, we are open from Sunday to Sunday, 7 to 4. On Sundays, it's free for Belizeans, but we accept donations. So thank you all for tuning in, and I hope next week, Tuesday, you tune in again on the national channel to view another segment of some of the things that we do here at Belize Botanic Gardens.
Under the tree we flourish. Under the tree we flourish. As I lay on my pillow, reading in the sunlight as the steam rising flame. Birds are singing as their wings go up flapping. This is what they mean when they talk about heaven. I will love this your land.
The Belize Botanic Gardens shop, located at number 37 West Street in San Ignacio Town, offers a variety of plants and organic products for all your horticulture needs. Come check out our flowering and ornamental plants, different palm varieties, heliconias, and fruit tree seedlings, to name a few. The shop also has in stock organic fertilizers, and we carry a variety of natural personal care products such as soaps, lotions, and shampoos. We also sell local organic products such as cassava bread, cassava starch, and plantain flour. The Belize Botanic Gardens shop is open Tuesdays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call the Belize Botanic Gardens shop at telephone numbers 824-3101 or 671-3322, or come by number 37 West Street to purchase all your horticulture products today.